Hello my loves, hello my besties, hi, welcome back or welcome to my channel. I'm Alanna, I live in Western New York. I am here to talk to you guys today about another book that I read / listened to, which was Do Not Disturb by Freida McFadden. But first, how are you? How have you been? Also, if you see me wearing the same exact outfit in the same exact position as the last two videos, mind your business. I recorded all of these on the same day. Mind your business. Shh. I'm kidding, they're totally different days. No, really. I had extra time today and I decided to record all three. This video and the last two as well, all on the same day. So, I'm going to look exactly the same. But, yeah, there's just the notes for that. I want to talk to you guys about Do Not Disturb by Freida McFadden. It is a psychological thriller. It was very good. It was my first Freida McFadden book. I really enjoyed it. I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more had I actually read it because the voice acting wasn't bad, but it was all done by one person, by the one female who played the lead, and she wasn't bad. It was, as coming off of somebody who all the books that I've listened to on audiobooks so far have had duet narration with a man and a woman, or just different voices for the different characters, it was a little bit harder for me to really get sucked into the story. Not that it had anything against the story or anything. The story was very good. I just think I would have enjoyed it more had I read it myself. I did give it, I think, a 3.25. Let me double check quick because I don't want to be spewing the wrong ratings to you guys. Let's see, finished. Yeah, I gave it a 3.25. Wasn't great, wasn't terrible, but it was good. It was a good, quick read. I'm going to talk to you guys about the plot, the characters, and all that good stuff. So this story basically follows a woman named Quinn who is on the run after murdering her abusive husband. She came home from work early one day because her office shut down early that day. And her husband got in a fight because he got mad that she was home early, and she defended herself and ended up killing him. So we follow her while she is on the run fleeing after this murder. It just so happened the night that this all took place, they happen to get hit with a huge snowstorm and she's forced to pull off the road to this old rundown motel called the Baxter Motel. I think it's like an hour and a half or a couple hours outside of where her home is. But she has to pull over for the night because the weather just gets too bad and she can't see and it's not safe to drive. So she pulls off into this motel and finds out not long after checking in that the motel has a dark past. The hotel looks really run down. It looks like it needs a lot of work. There's a leak in the lobby. It's just, you can tell that it could use some work. But it's basically following Quinn attempting to stay hidden from the cops after killing her husband, and she's hunkered down at this motel, and she's also trying to potentially survive the night at this motel because the dark past, she doesn't really know what actually happened. So she's just trying to figure out if this motel is going to be a safe haven or if she's going to end up dead. So that's what this story is basically about. Quinn is our main girl. She works at a bank. She's married to Derek, who is part of a very prominent rich family, and she ends up killing him out of self-defense and goes on the run from not only the police but also his family, because they have a lot of power and she knows that she would never get out of this alive or safe. Her sister Claudia is also a kind of bigger part in this book because her sister is constantly out looking for her throughout the whole story and she's kind of inserted herself into the case. Like, she finds out where Quinn's cell phone is and she goes and gets it. I'm sorry, my dog is snoring on my foot. And it's loud, so if you heard that, I'm sorry. But yeah, Claudia is another main character. She basically, we most of the time we see her trying to find her sister, her coming up within the investigation of trying to find her sister. And then we have Nick and Rosalie, who Nick is not as much a side character. He kind of is, but not really. He's like more up there. He is the owner of the Baxter Motel. He is the person who checks in Quinn and kind of helps her out, gets her food, like that kind of thing. He's a very sweet guy. He's one of my favorite characters in this book. He probably is my favorite character in this book. And he has been basically, he was suspected of killing, because a woman was murdered in the motel a couple years back, and he was suspected of murdering her, but there was no evidence to prove that, and the case has still gone unsolved. But he didn't go to jail or anything. They didn't have any evidence to prove that it was him. They just were under suspicion that it was because the door was locked and whatever else for the bedroom of the girl that was killed. And then Rosalie is Nick's wife. She is wheelchair bound. She stays in their home, like in the window of their bedroom, watching over the motel all day, every day, because she was diagnosed with MS and she now is not able to really get around on her own. The setting of the story mostly takes place at the rundown Baxter Motel. It's a small bed and breakfast type place that could use some love. It used to be a thriving motel along with Rosalie's, which is his wife's diner that is right next door to the hotel. That has also been closed up because his wife with MS is not able to run it anymore. She was the chef there and she no longer can do it, so the business has been closed down. And with that, the Baxter Motel has started suffering, and then it suffered more when the tragedy of somebody being murdered in the motel kind of hit the news. That's basically where the whole thing takes place. You get little snippets, like, of her on the road and at her house beforehand, but most of this story, and then, like, when you're in Claudia's point of view, you, like, see her at her own home and stuff like that, but most of the story, 90% of the story takes place at the Baxter Motel. The pacing was okay, slow in some parts, but quicker in others. I can't really say much about the pacing. It didn't feel like you really flew through or anything, but it also, like, it didn't feel like stuff dragged, but it didn't feel like it was moving as quickly as it could either. But maybe that's just me. I read a lot of fantasy and stuff, so I'm used to, like, fast-paced, everything moving. So maybe to me this was just kind of slow because that's what I'm used to. The originality, I personally haven't read anything else like this, so I found it to be pretty original. I know it can be hard for thrillers to be original because there's only so many, like, ways you can take a thriller. And with all the books that there are out there and movies and stuff, it's kind of hard to come up with original ideas for a thriller. So to me, I thought it was original because I haven't read anything else like it before, but that's not to say that there isn't something else like this out there. I just haven't read it. So to me, it was a pretty original. I thought the side plots of the motel's dark history and Nick and Rosalie's relationship were a nice touch because you see a lot within Nick and Rosalie's relationship as well, which I like. You get to see, like, touches. You kind of get to see their romance as well as, like, what's going on with the main story, and I think that that's interesting. It's nice to have not just everything be about Quinn, that it's like you get touches of them in their life as well. So I liked that. I didn't really have any resounding emotions from this book. The twist did get me. I didn't see the twist coming at all. It had me thrown for a freaking loop. I was reeling afterward. But overall, I didn't really have any strong feelings toward or against the book. It was a quick, easy read. It was a good thriller. I don't really have anything else, like, super outstanding to say about it. I did enjoy the ending, though. It was a very sweet way to end the story. Everything was all wrapped up in a nice bow, which I enjoyed. You get to see Quinn actually get to be happy in the end, which is nice. Hope you can go see Dad. Daddy's home. Go get him. Where is he? Sorry, my fiance just got home and he was sneaking up on the boy. But I overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. It was a quick, easy read, and it didn't take too much time at all to get through. It took me a little while because I was listening to it on audiobook mostly when I was like in the car and stuff, so I wasn't listening to it nonstop like I was with other I can talk other audiobooks. So I recommend it though. I would definitely say maybe read it instead of listen to the audiobook because again, I didn't super love the narrator. I didn't like that it wasn't a dual like duet narration. And then a couple of the quotes that I kind of liked were, have you ever just met somebody that you clicked with that you felt was an extension of yourself, that missing piece? Like, I thought that was cute. And then there's a quote from Quinn at some point where she goes, I spited him enough by murdering him. I mean, that's probably the best way to spite somebody. The most spited way ever. And the last one was, and also my husband is still lying dead on the kitchen floor in a pool of blood. I mean, he deserved it. So, I'm not mad. But overall, it was a good book. It went pretty quick. 3.25. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. But if you do want to pick it up, I recommend reading it yourself instead of listening to the audiobook. It is pretty good, though. I am looking forward to reading more Freida McFadden stuff. I have a couple more. I think I got The Boyfriend recently on audiobooks, so hopefully we will get to touch on that one here soon. But thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. It really does help me out a lot. It helps me push the video out to more amazing people like you. And thank you guys for any time that you choose to spend with me. I know it is not something you can get back, so any minute you choose to give me truly does mean the world. I hope you guys stay happy, healthy, and safe, and I will see you guys the next time I see you. Bye!